One of the most baffling things about the original Demon's Souls game, aside from the already complex lore, was the presence of a 6th Arcstone, despite being inaccessible. As it turns out, the 6th Arcstone was supposed to be dedicated to an incomplete world From Software failed to finish before the original game launch in 2009.
And using shields is overpowered. Just dodge, Ralph.
I hate you.
Dodge.
Welcome to Professional Casual Gamers After Dark, the podcast where two friends kick back after a long work week and casually talk about everything gaming. I'm your host, Ralph, joined by my co-host and beta Demon's Souls player, Alex. How have you been?
All right, listeners, for perspective, we really shoot to record these either Saturday morning or Sunday morning.
It is Saturday morning.
It is, by definition, it is currently Saturday, 1:11 a.m. We've had more than a few drinks. We watched Crazy Rich Asians. Which
Great movie.
Yeah. Honestly, it sounds like it'd be a really weird, kind of basic movie, quote unquote. But yeah, super good. Emotional roller coaster ride.
Listeners where is this going?
I thought this was video games. No, totally watch it. I don't know. Ralph and his now wife Sam have every streaming platform under the sun. So I don't know how we watched it at their place, but we were able to stream it.
Yeah. It was a good time. It was on
good.
HBO.
It was good.
Yeah, today we're kicking off episode 22. Alex and I are drunk AF right now, and it's gonna be
what do we have?
A lot.
Tanqueray
and gin, and then tonics.
I think whenever we do talk about alcohol, except for the last episode where
it's always gin and tonic.
Yeah, it's usually always gin and tonic, dude. I mean, hey man, if it works, don't change it.
It's gonna be a kooky episode tonight,
it's good,
everyone.
It's good. Yeah.
As always, thank you to everyone who's listened to our podcast. And if you're tuning in for the very first time, I apologize. We're really plastered.
Don't apologize. Expect this. Learn it, love it, embrace it.
Our mantras. I love it. But before we do kick off the episode, I like to just shout out my boy Alex.
No.
The reason we're super drunk right now is because we're celebrating Alex's job well done. We can't really talk about it quite yet. I'm sure we will bring
probably
it up in the future.
Next episode?
Maybe. It's your call. Yeah, probably.
Probably
yeah.
next episode. I mean, I'm going to host next episode, so I'll control the general discussion, but yeah.
Yeah, just so you know, Alex is a badass motherfucker, and I'm really proud of him. So
explicit tag is going on, apparently.
It's fine. We're really drunk. We're celebrating. Just wanted to acknowledge his hustle. In other news, did you beat Persona 5 yet?
Oh, dude, it's actually may have been a straight up month, at least a month, since I played Persona 5 Royal. No, I haven't. So I've been playing Control, which is currently free on PlayStation Plus, if you remember that. And honestly, okay, so it's Control Ultimate Edition, which includes I'm playing on the PS5, which has the upgraded version. Unfortunately, I don't think the upgraded PS5 version of Control Ultimate Edition is worth it. And I mean, Ralph actually kind of tests us out on his PS5 as well.
Alex was very disappointed when I pointed stuff out.
I was. So originally when I saw Control, it was last year. It was on Ralph's PC, so I was able to see 4K, 60 FPS, at least 60 FPS, and ray tracing. I was like, wow, this is the future.
Yeah.
And then it's put on the PS5, and it's you can have ray tracing in 4K, but it's at 30 FPS. And you're like, okay, it's just 30... negative minus 30 frames per second. It can't be that big of a deal. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's not stable.
The difference between 30 FPS and 60 FPS, I don't know if I sound like a total nerd by saying that, but if you have actually experienced 30 FPS and 60 FPS side by side, it's actually night and day. And 30 FPS is unplayable at that point.
Well, yeah, and the other issue with Control is that it's a very active game. It's not like a walking simulator. You're moving constantly, and there's a lot.
Sure, yeah, totally.
There's a lot of enemies on screen, and it's definitely noticeable.
There's a lot of stuff going on. Yeah. There's enemies. You have psychokinesis / telekinesis power. So you're throwing stuff. Yeah. You're slinging your gun. The enemies are shooting stuff too, so there's constant action going on the screen, and at 30 FPS, it's just bad.
Yeah.
So to be frank, it's just bad. You need 60.
So how do you like it so far? Because I know you're not the biggest fan of shooters.
Yeah.
And I know Control is very much like a story-based game, but it is shooter heavy.
Okay, so I guess maybe listeners might have this misconception of me, which is totally fair if they think I hate shooters. I do not like first-person shooters.
So you're fine with third-person?
I love third-person shooters because, like, I can, like, see the character, I can, like, see the movement. I don't know why I don't like first-person shooters. Honestly, I think it's just because I'm bad at them. Like, I don't mind, like, the idea, the concept of a first-person shooter. Like, I'm just trash.
It's funny because they essentially play the same.
Yeah, I don't know. And I'm not saying I'm, like, awesome at, like, PvP third-person shooter, but in Control, it's just PvE. It's just story mode. So I only need to compete with the computers who they... Honestly, like, there is kind of a difficulty curve to this game. Like, the computers hit very hard.
Yeah.
But it's cool. I really like this game. It's like a contender for top 10 to be.
Oh, really? For this year?
Excuse me. Yeah. Not even for this year, like, just like in general, because Control is super... Man, how do I kind of put this? It's very cinematic in its storytelling. Like, one of the big things that's... As soon as the game opens, you're like, what the heck is going on? Right? And as the game progresses, as the narrative progresses, they answer some of these questions while leaving some on the table, while also leading new questions onto you. So you're satisfied with some of the answers you have about the narrative being answered, but then you're also being strung along by just everything else going on in the story. And on top of the narrative, like, the graphics are awesome, as we kind of touched upon. And the gameplay is super fun. You know, like, gunplay, very solid. They used the haptic triggers on the PS5 very well. And even if you're playing on the PS4, like, still pretty cool. And then also the using telekinesis, it's pretty smooth. So it's cool. There's not a lot of games, I feel like, that are in that sort of thriller, action-adventure niche genre. Like, that sort of conglomeration. So it's in like a weird sort of category for a game. Like, I don't know any other game in recent memory that's similar to Control. And I don't know if you can kind of add on to that.
I can think of, like, their old games. So, like, they're the developers of Alan Wake.
Sure.
Which so, like, that's actually kind of the same vibe.
It's in, like, the same universe, apparently.
Yeah,
which they confirmed, yeah.
So, I can also think of Xbox Quantum Break. I forgot what it was.
I know you're talking
Iceman
about.
was the main character.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. And I know, like, Returnal.
Yeah.
On the PS5, it has that kind of vibe where it's, like, thriller, like, light horror, but then also action.
Yeah.
And I think Returnal probably took a lot of cues from Control.
Yeah.
Seems like it. But, yeah, Control's super good. It's a shortish game. It's, like, I think the main campaign's probably, like, 12 hours. The Ultimate Edition comes with 2 DLC packs. I don't know how long those DLC packs are, but I'm probably going to play them. The Platinum is pretty easy, actually.
Is it?
Yeah, I looked at it, and it's basically like you just need like a thorough playthrough of the main story, so nothing too crazy. So I'm probably going to go for that because I really enjoy this game. I'm having fun with it, so I want to do it the justice it deserves, right?
Yeah, for sure. What do you call it? Control was one of my favorite games when I played it.
Last gen?
Yeah. The aesthetic is really beautiful. Like, I think the concept of the oldest house, which is the place that you like play in the game, is really interesting. Listeners, if you don't know, like, the oldest house is a secret building for, like, the organization that you work in, the Office of Control. I forgot the name, but
the Federal Bureau of Control.
Right.
The FBC.
Yeah. But what makes the oldest house cool is as you progress through the game, the house changes. So, like, especially within the game when things are, like, kind of broken, like, the mailbox will be in the ceiling, or, like, what do you call it? The tables will be on, like, the walls, and as you fix places, it'll come back to normal. It's super cool.
Is Control on all platforms?
Yes, I believe. Not Twitch. Switch would die.
I thought they were doing that whole
like the streaming
thing.
I don't know if I would stream Control though, because
I know they did it for Hitman 3.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. Oh, alcohol.
Yeah,
Dang.
We're drunk.
It might be if you can play, if you have access to play Control healthily, like if your graphics card on PC or like whatever can handle it, I would totally recommend it. Like in terms of gameplay, in terms of narrative, in terms of graphics, like it kind of hits all the.
Well, you can play it on last gen, so it totally runs fine on last gen consoles. It just does not have the bells and whistles that you have.
I mean, I heard on like base PS4,
nothing runs on base PS4.
It really chugged. It was like really loud. It was wheezing.
Right.
But if you're like a pro, if you have like a Switch, you're streaming it. If that's a thing, I hope we're not making it up.
Maybe we're just.
I'm gonna look that up right now. But
you're gonna look it up right now.
I mean, that's all I have to contribute to the stuff I've been playing, to be honest. So while you go into that, I'm gonna look up if you can play Control on.
Sure. Yeah. So, Alex has been playing Control. I've been playing League, but we've really drilled that down to the ground. But the big thing I am playing, which we kind of brought up last time, is that I'm playing Demon Souls. I'm in the game. You know what I mean? And what's really funny about Demon Souls, and Alex kind of brought it up. It's really easy. Honestly, it's really easy. I'm having such an easy time with it. I'm not having a terrible time with it. And Alex is a little tilted. He's a little upset that I'm having such an easy time. So there's this boss that Alex has been hyping up this entire time. He's like, oh yeah, just you wait until you get to Flame Lurker. He'll die. It took me 2 hours to beat him. So that I was farming and I was trying to get some materials for my weapon so I can level it up. I accidentally go into the Flame Lurker boss fight and I beat him in one try. Honestly, and there's proof. I showed Alex, there's video proof that I beat him in one try, and Alex is just so upset that I'm having such a chill time with Demon Souls, not having a hard time. And so it's just one of those things where I'm having a good time with Demon Souls. I like the aesthetic. The world is super cool. I'm a little disappointed. That's kind of the weird thing, and I think I'm starting to see the transition of how From Software makes their Souls games, because they made the Souls games, and then when they made Bloodborne, their one big thing was no shields. No shields in Bloodborne, and then they also did the same thing with Sekiro, and I think they understand that within the Dark Souls games, the shields are just so strong. So I'm using a shield. I'm using the tools that they gave me. So while I'm using the shields, cakewalk, honestly.
Yeah. Okay, so coming back from my research, Control is on Switch.
Oh, cool. Like stream?
Yeah, pretty sure.
In the US, though?
I saw it on Wikipedia. It said platforms and Switch was on there.
But, in the US?
I don't know. It's probably...
Maybe. It's fine.
I would assume...
You were right.
I would assume so.
You were right. It's all that matters.
Yeah, so play it. Anyways, like Ralph does... He is using the shield. I did watch the gameplay of him being Flame Lurker, which is notably like one of the hardest bosses in Demon Souls. And it literally, if you Google, and I told him to do this, like, so you could feel the tilt.
And I told him I didn't need to because I wasn't part of the loser club.
Yeah, he's just rubbing in my face. Like, if you just Google, like, Flame Lurker and Reddit, and you can see all the Reddit posts of, like, people complaining how unbalanced, how unfair Flame Lurker is. And Cone, who is, a professional casual regular, we don't use shields for the bosses. And I don't know why. I don't know why we do.
I think it's because you think that you can't block with the shields. Because it wouldn't make sense.
Part of it, yeah.
Because you're thinking, oh, like, this thing's really big. Of course I can't block this hit. So then I tested it. I'm like, oh, I guess I can block all these hits for the bosses. So it totally worked.
But no, you're right. But there is like a sort of fulfilling challenge of defeating the bosses.
Don't try to like ruin my achievements,
I know.
Alex.
I'm not trying to like. I know in the Smash Bros community and like the past at the ex Nintendo head of America. Reggie.
Yeah,
he was like no Johns.
Customers.
Yeah. He's like no Johns. John is like an excuse in the Smash Bros community. I'm not trying to make a John here. Like the game offers you a shield and like you took it. So I'm not upset by it.
And there's shields everywhere.
Yeah.
So it's not like, oh, there's
shields.
one shield. No, you're giving shields like candy.
Right. Yeah, you're using probably one of the better ones.
Yeah.
I would imagine. But yeah, I'm just like, wow, this boss took me like hours, and you just fucking freaking defeated in one try. And I'm like, huh, okay. Yeah,
And then the next day, I beat the second hardest boss that Alex said.
Yeah, Man-Eater.
In like a third try, and that was also really easy too.
And so, kind of bring this back to a more substantial conversation. We're talking about like, man, like why? Because I said Demon's Souls is my favorite game on PS5 currently, and then so I was kind of wondering, like, man, like Ralph, I don't think he's like that into it as I am, or I was while playing it. So why did I think that Demon's Souls on the PS5 was my favorite game? And I think just, even if you are breezing through the bosses, which even if I played it again, which maybe I will at some point, I probably would breeze through the bosses because I have the mechanics down, I have their attack patterns down. I think just the environments that the game produces and the boss design is just kind of on another level from other games, other than, other Dark Souls, Bloodborne games, things outside of the From Software franchises. The boss design, the environments are just kind of on another level.
I feel like you should give Bloodborne another shot.
Perhaps I should. It had a really salty, taste in my mouth because of freaking the parry system to me.
But you don't need to parry the bosses.
Yeah,
it makes it much easier. It's also the parry windows are super small.
Yeah,
so most people don't even parry bosses.
I played Bloodborne right after Dark Souls 3. And in Dark Souls 3, I actually got into the habit of parrying bosses a good amount. Man,
you're drunk.
I'm burping. Excuse me. So in Bloodborne, in order to parry, you need to like shoot a gun, essentially. And then if you die, you don't like recover those bullets automatically. You need to like recover them and then go back to the boss. So if you play those, you understand like that's actually a really cumbersome mechanic.
But that's the same thing with arrows or like the grass or like, do you know what I'm trying to say? Like it's not an Estus flask.
Right.
You know what it's It's a consumable. It wouldn't make sense if they're like, "Oh, you died, here's some free bullets." It doesn't make sense within the world.
Yes and no. I don't know. I don't think we should have this conversation right now, but I think, given that Bloodborne is free on the PlayStation Plus,
you should check it out.
PS5,
and it's optimized now for PS5, I think. So I think it may be running at 60.
I did read articles about that. I think that was just like a fan mod.
Maybe.
I don't know if actual FromSoft did that.
Yeah. But I could totally see it being optimized.
I would, I should. The critic reviews for Bloodborne are absolutely nuts.
A lot of people say Bloodborne's their favorite Souls game.
Yeah, I will totally admit I'm stubborn. I get that from my dad, like 100%. And I know when I'm being stubborn, but like I just think I'm right. And for the longest time, like I felt that way about Bloodborne. I still kind of do, but I know I should give another chance.
But you're right. So
no.
Alex is just like so candid today. He's like, I'm drunk. I don't care. I'm gonna speak my mind.
I will give Bloodborne another chance when I have maybe after like Yakuza 7. So maybe in like early summer, June. I don't know.
Like maybe we'll give it a shot, but then if like God of War comes out, then no.
Ooh, because I do need to replay that on the optimized PS5 version. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah. So in essence, I am enjoying Demon's Souls. I'm just a little bit disappointed. That's kind of the weird thing, and I'm not here to tilt Alex, but like,
I'm tilted. I'm always, that's my secret, Captain. I'm always tilted.
But the issue is like with these type of games, typically you're supposed to get beaten in the ground like over and over and over again until that one time of full elation once you beat a boss. And I just have not experienced that. Like you're supposed to lose to a boss like 20 times and learn the patterns and just be really good. But honestly, I'm just not there. So
yeah. No, it's again, like you're totally right to use a shield. Like clearly it's working. I just wish you didn't. I wish you just used that O button to dodge a lot instead.
Yeah, I guess. Hey,
but you're enjoying it though, and like I like that the most. I guess
it's like I'm enjoying it because I like the structure of a Souls game.
Yeah,
I like the concept of a Souls games. I like learning, like really learning a map, learning where these traps are, learning all the shenanigans. But the one thing that's missing about Demon Souls for me, I just haven't had that moment, and I'm kind of craving it. Like I'm waiting. Like I feel like I'm this dude on the top of the hill, this challenging everyone's like show me what's up, and it just hasn't been there, and it's kind of disappointing. Like I really want to get my ass beat multiple times, but it's just not there. Like,
stop on me.
Yeah, I hate you,
dude. Dark Souls 3 is on sale. I think you should. Dark Souls 3 is probably one of my favorites, or Sekiro. Oh, yeah. Dude, you should play Sekiro. Sekiro's so much fun.
Yeah, but you can't grind in Sekiro, and that kind of scares me.
Bruh. Yeah, it's skill based. I love Sekiro. I should platinum Sekiro. I don't know why I haven't. Well,
before we spend too much time on Demon Souls, we are going to move over to some industry news. We have a bunch of news. Excuse me, I'm already perfect, and
dude,
we're
what
really
is this
drunk.
Episode?
But what do you call it? There's a bunch of industry news this week, and so we're gonna try and go through them as fast as possible, but like we're gonna take our time for the ones we really care about, you know what I mean? Because that's just how we roll. So
that's how foreplay for the people we care about.
So first and foremost, DBrand, if people are aware, those are the people that make stickers for your console. But DBrand is starting to sell matte black PS5 plates and dares Sony to sue them. So the company, best known for its custom phone skins and cases, has put dark plates on sale. So essentially, a lot of people don't like the white like plastic around the PlayStation 5, so they made black ones. And so with a promise that precisely carved slabs of the plastic will turn your PS5 into a murdered out matte black hunk of hardware. This isn't just an unofficial accessory. DBrand is actively encouraging Sony to sue it for putting the product out. The background there is that a small company, first called PlayStation 5, when Customize My Plates was forced to cancel and refund orders for a similar product last year following legal action from Sony. Now, DBrand's order page reads, "Go ahead, sue us," at the top of it.
Love it.
Which is awesome. So, Alex, what do you make of this? Will Sony sue?
Oh, man. I mean, if they were Nintendo, they already would have sent like 5 cease and desist orders.
Right.
Which is funny, but I wonder because there was, and I think this is really only in the news because of PlayStation's or Sony's rather past aggression towards the companies, the websites are like, hey, we can make custom PS5 faceplates. Sure, like that's totally something we can do. And Sony's like, no. Yeah, the Dikembe Mutombo, no, blocks the donk.
You walk in front of me.
Exactly. So I wonder what Sony's gonna do. I wish I could customize my PS5 faceplate like legally because I don't think it looks to, though. Yeah, it doesn't like it looks fine, but like it can look cooler.
Like life is good now, but it could be better.
Exactly. Yeah, the grass is greener on the other side.
I think this is a very different situation though, because DBrand is a big company.
Yeah, they're
like I'm sure they have a very strong legal team.
Yeah, and you might be hearing like, oh, DBrand, like what the heck is that? But like if you actually like search up a Google search like DBrand, like like that logo, these
it's the company.
I've definitely been on their
It's
website,
the company that is on every podcast and every YouTube video that you see.
Yeah, they've sponsored a lot of videos. They're like the first version of like the Raycons or whatever. Yeah. Basically.
What do you call it? I do have to say that it's just a different situation because this is a much bigger company, so I think Sony will tread more lightly. But it's just such a big dick move of just like on the buy page, it's just like, go ahead, sue us. Like, I think that's just so interesting because I'm sure they've already discussed this with their legal team to see like what are the grounds, can they even sue us? So I'm sure they already have a legal defense ready for Sony. The other thing too is that even if they do get sued, I think it's a huge PR move. It like everyone's talking about it. It is on the news sites for the games industry. So like, I think one, it'll drive sales for any of their other things that are maybe not the faceplates if that does get canceled. But I'm sure that more people will know that, oh, DBrand, the ones that make custom like controllers, DBrand that makes custom like skins for your PlayStation or Xbox or Switch, like they will definitely get a surge in traffic just by being in the news for this. So I think it's a really smart move on their end. It's a huge publicity stunt. So I think that's where the value is for that. It's not the faceplate. It's more along the lines of the brand awareness.
For sure. Yeah. Honestly, kind of a quote-unquote 5-head 200 IQ move on DBrand's part, because really the only people who are going to be upset by them doing this is like Sony's law team. Maybe not even everyone at Sony, just Sony's law team. Because everyone else is like, yeah, you know what? Like, okay, sure. I could make my PS5 to have like a nice little facelift. Sure. And DBrand is like a pretty reputable company. So why not? Right?
And also, I don't know what the grounds are for Sony, because who cares? If someone already bought your PlayStation, and the only reason that they should care is because, like they may want to sell this in the future. But they don't have a monopoly on customizing your PlayStations. Like if you already bought your PlayStation and you want to customize it, that's on you. You can write Sharpie and says, my PlayStation is awesome. And it's like Sony can't sue you for that. So DBrand is just bringing it to an upscale thing. I thought about it. I kind of want to buy it because it looks really nice.
I haven't looked at their options for customizing it, but I would be interested. Yeah.
Sony's just probably salty because they're like, we were going to sell that next year. We're going to sell a pure black PlayStation next year. Now they've
had time.
Yeah.
They should have. If Sony had something, let's go for like $50 more. You can have this PS5 with, whatever faceplate. Like, I probably would have done that, to be honest. Yeah,
for sure. 2021 is off to a weird start. There's just a bunch of weird news this week, and that's not usually the case for me because Alex usually has a bunch of news during his weeks, and I have nothing. But this week I actually got a bunch. So Post Malone will hold a virtual concert to celebrate Pokemon's 25th anniversary. Post Malone is joining Pokemon's 25th anniversary celebration with a virtual concert. The rapper will perform on February 27th in a digital event kicking off at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on YouTube. The company released a teaser video alongside the news, which includes a look at a very Pixar-ish animated version of the artist ahead of the performance. The Pokemon Company International announced P25, a series of musical events last month with news that the pop star Katy Perry will headline. Post Malone's concert will be a free event fans can tune into over on the event's official website, YouTube, or Twitch. The event is also expected to include more news on upcoming musical acts. Alex, 2021 is weird.
It is.
What can we expect from this musical event?
Okay, so, I mean, it's cool.
Right.
Like regardless, like, Pokemon is celebrating this really milestone anniversary. Ralph and I were actually talking about this. Like, I was like, oh, Pokemon's only like 25 years old. I feel like that's a little too young, given that Mario had just had its 35th anniversary. Or maybe I just like think I'm older than I actually am. I don't know.
That's a college grad out of school.
Yeah, seriously.
Struggling with rent.
I'm confused how they stumbled on Post Malone.
It's like
their poster boy for this concert. Like, you have to know, like, everyone knows about Pokemon.
Right.
Like, I don't even know if that's an exaggeration. And so why are they settling on Post Malone as the guy settling. As the face for, like, the thing is, like, Post Malone isn't he's not an artist for all ages. Like, he has a fair amount of explicit content. I don't personally care about tattoos, but in Japan, I feel like they would probably be more conservative.
Right. Well, it's like negatively viewed in the culture.
Right. And he has tattoos to share with everyone and their mom.
Yeah.
So the thing is, like, how do they end up on him?
Yeah, it's kind of a weird thing.
Yeah.
Maybe Post Malone is a huge Pokemon fan.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably a lot of famous artists.
Like he
Pokemon
comes from our
fans.
generation, so like
Sure,
he might just be like a huge Pokemon fan, and maybe they like were able to do a deal. It is like a little bit weird, and I love Post Malone's music, and I love him, and he's super cool. Yeah, but like
Miles Morales.
Nothing against him, but I don't think he's very brand friendly for Pokemon. Like, I think that's where you're kind of going with, like, a lot of tattoos. Like, that's just not what it looks like.
I mean, yeah, I don't mean to put a stigma on...
Like, I don't personally care.
Right, we don't want to be
like,
that
from a company's perspective, it doesn't make sense for a child's game.
Right.
To make him kind of the poster boy. I think it's super cool.
Rated E for everyone.
Yeah.
Maybe Post Malone, who has a lot of explicit songs... who has, an abundance of tattoos, maybe isn't representative of the Pokemon brand.
Yeah.
That's just kind of where I'm going at.
He's 100% Team Rocket, you know what I mean?
Jesse, James, Meow,
Post Malone. But Post Malone's cool, dude. The other thing too is like Katy Perry is part of this, and I don't know what other musical artists are going to do this. Maybe the artists, because they can't go do concerts, are just falling on hard times, and they just really need those virtual events to happen. But I think it's a really cool thing if this is the case, because I'm kind of excited to see some like really high quality Pokemon music. I don't know what that looks like, but like a sunflower version of Pokemon.
Give me Victory Road.
Dude, like a Victory Road remix with like Post Malone would fucking...
That'd be cool.
That'd be sick,
That'd be cool.
dude.
The, Lavender Tower?
Yeah.
That eerie...
Lavender Town? Yeah. Like, there's a lot of... I'm really excited for
Pokemon
these musical acts.
It's got a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, so like now with like Katy Perry and Post Malone and whoever... else could be added. Right. There's a lot of potential for just a really good Pokemon album for the 25th anniversary.
Yeah. And it's cool because we touched on this maybe like 2 or 3 episodes ago about like just the amount of revenue video games brought in 2020. It literally just has not been more popular.
Yeah, and virtual concerts is just like the flavor now, like Fortnite did it.
You can't not do virtual concerts.
Wargaming did a virtual concert.
Did they? Nice.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
What do you call it? Now we have Pokemon, so that's going to be super cool. I'm kind of curious if there's going to be any game announcements at this concert, because it's been rumored, listeners, like a lot of you may know, but some of you may not. I'm a huge Pokemon fan. I'm a Pokemon stan.
Sure. He bought 4 McDonald's Happy Meals.
Why would you out me? How dare you?
Just to get the limited edition Pokemon cards, whatever. I might take his Bulbasaur.
They're cool. No, how dare you? Don't touch them. But what I was trying to say is that there could be some really cool announcements. We haven't had an announcement for a new Pokemon game yet. I know Snap is coming out, but that's a spin-off.
No, we don't count new Pokemon stuff.
But typically with the Pokemon games, there's usually a kind of like a remake-ish in between years of the mainline games. And so a lot of people are speculating of a Diamond and Pearl remake. So that's what people are looking forward to. Some people have also speculated Let's Go Johto.
I would so be down for that.
Yeah, so,
I would love that.
So there's a bunch of things, and I'm hoping something does come from the Pokemon concert. Maybe it's Pokemon Sleep. Who knows?
Yeah, and kind of similar to that note, there is going to be like a Final Fantasy concert.
Yeah.
This technically today and tomorrow being Saturday, and so there's supposed to be news of Final Fantasy VII Remake 2 from this concert. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. Maybe there's a lot of rumors for that. So hopefully you're going to hear something. Any sort of release date or even a demo. I think you were kind of talking about that a couple weeks ago, but yeah, a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, And other weird stuff, Cyberpunk can't take a break.
No.
Like CD Projekt Red just can't take
Please.
a break. So Cyberpunk 2077 Studios hacked data has been reportedly sold. So
bad.
CDPR got hacked. So hackers have reportedly sold the game source code and other information stolen from Cyberpunk 2077 and The Witcher 3 studio CD Projekt Red. Cybersecurity firm Kella released screenshots of a post on the hacking forum exploit allegedly posted by the attackers saying that they've received an offer for the data from outside of the forum. They added that they ended the auction at the request of the buyer. Cybersecurity Twitter account VX Underground subsequently confirmed that the auction has closed. On Tuesday, CDPR disclosed it had been a victim of a ransomware attack in which hackers had collected certain data from the company. It posted a ransom note from which the hackers in which they claimed to have access to source code from the studio's most popular games, as well as internal legal, HR, and financial documents. CDPR said it would not give in to the demands of, or negotiate with the hackers, even if that meant the stolen data would begin circulating online. Previously reported that the starting price for the auction was $1 million, with a buy it now price of $7 million. These terms were subsequently verified by VX Underground 2. Alex, why can't CDPR catch a break? How do you feel about CDPR stocks now? What do you think the buyer will do with these files?
Oh, man. Loaded questions. Okay, so I actually... It's funny. So CDPR is basically like, we don't negotiate with terrorists, because given the prices you said, like $7 million or whatever, they obviously could have bought back like the data or whatever was taken from these. But the issue
is, like, I think if they did pay it, it could happen again.
It shows a weakness or like a lower level of like agency in that relationship and with the terrorists.
Terrorists.
I'm not going to negotiate with terrorists. So I think I generally agree with this move by CDPR, like, because I was kind of looking into this too, and I read the ransom note. Like, the hackers left a ransom note
so funny.
To CDPR. It's written by, like, literally a third grader. There's so many, like, typos, so many just, like, mispronunciations.
Maybe that's
like,
that was on purpose.
I have to imagine
they use the term pwned.
Yeah, they do. You're totally right. It's pretty bad. It's frustrating because it's so, like, juvenile, I guess.
Yeah, but they were able to hack CDPR.
But they were able to hack, like, one of the, quote unquote greatest devs that we know of. Man, yeah, you're right. They really can't catch a break. And I think would this have happened if they had a clean launch of Cyberpunk? I feel like probably not.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where there's probably some security, like someone laxed on security because they were handling some other stuff for CDPR. Maybe, right?
Yeah.
Maybe. Who knows? Right? We don't know. We're not inside the company, so.
But yeah, I am a...
he bought some stocks. He was like, Ralph, you got to buy some CDPR stocks, man.
Yeah, I mean, I am not... let me preface right now. I am not a stock guru. I am not RT Shepherd. I am not giving anyone insight onto what stocks to buy, sell, whatever. I just think CDPR is going to recover from Cyber Project 2077 mishap.
Cyber Project? How drunk are you?
Apparently I'm very drunk because I thought I said Cyberpunk. I think they've said that they're going to make a new Witcher game, so I'm hopeful for them. But yeah, man, actually their stock price didn't drop. I think it dropped like 20 cents, which is not a huge deal.
Well, I think the one thing too, there's two things. Even if you bought the source code for the games, yes, you bought that. What are you gonna do with that?
Right,
they're gonna find you.
That was also a thing. So it was sold on the dark web. I've never navigated, nor do I want to navigate the dark web. Don't really know what goes on there. I imagine something like 4chan with some weird shit.
Way worse, probably.
But then people who and this was just navigating through comments, whatever. It's like, sure, you have the source code for these already released games. What are you going to do with them? Yeah.
Well, one of the things that people did say was part of the source code that was stolen is a ray tracing version of Witcher 3.
So, okay. I mean, they're going to release that on next-gen consoles at least.
I don't know.
They said, but I think it's just like we have this because of your moment of weakness. It's,
I think the more scary information that they have is their financials.
Oh, totally.
The HR information.
Yeah.
What do you call it? Their account information. I think that is much more threatening.
You're very correct on that. And I imagine the thing is with CDPR, they certainly had their shortcomings with this last release. But what they have been supremely good on, in my eyes, was communication. I mean, even if it wasn't like, hey, like, we're definitely going to... I think they communicated very well.
Except when, their CEO was like, Jason Schreier, you should learn how to do research.
Perhaps. Okay, they communicated frequently, made it kind of more clear with what they were saying.
Yeah.
But they are big on trying to speak to the public rather than, like, have things nebulous or kind of up in the air. So I think I would like to think that a studio like CD Projekt Red would have their bases covered for their internal employees in that regard.
Yeah. Because
they do care about, like, their image and, you know, how they are being viewed in that sort of time. Ralph, we're at approximately 40 minutes.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to speed up some stuff because we don't want to keep you and there's too much news. But yeah, no, CDPR, crazy stuff. They just can't catch a break. The one thing that I did want to make sure that we covered today is that Alex really wanted to talk about the casting for The Last of Us.
Oh, yeah.
So the Mandalorian star Pedro Pascal, which is the pilot in the Jedi movies, will play Joel. And the Game of Thrones fan favorite, Bella Ramsey, will star as Ellie in HBO's The Last of Us
Game of
TV
Thrones
show.
Fan favorite.
Dude!
I mean,
she was cool.
She was great in, like, one scene. That was like it.
She was great in so many scenes.
No.
Seriously. You need to rewatch it.
I guess.
She killed a giant?
I feel like I like... don't remember. I blocked out the last season or like the last two seasons of Game of Thrones.
We'll show a highlight reel of Bella Ramsey.
Sure. Yeah. I remember like what she did. Like she was sassy.
Yeah.
And she was like this younger person. And I'm like, okay, like Ellie was this young sassy person. So like I get it. Yeah.
For sure. So Alex, are you excited about this casting choice, or do we even need a Last of Us TV show?
Okay, so man, and that's something like we've kind of talked about on and off. Like when I was doing my playthrough of Last of Us. Because when I started, like, when did the Last of Us HBO series, like, when was it announced? Like, a couple of years ago, right? At least, like, 2 years ago.
So that's kind of my big issue with the video game industry. I don't know what it is. The video game industry makes more money than the music industry. It makes more money than TV. It makes more money than movies. Just let it be the video game industry. Because I think there's this weird inferiority complex for like the games where they're like, oh, like people won't take us seriously unless we're a movie. People won't take us seriously unless we're a TV show, or if we're like, we transcend the medium. Because I think there are just things in games that need to stay in games. Honestly, the emotional impact that you feel in The Last of Us in the original game is so much more because you're controlling the characters, you have agency in the game, and I don't know if they can capture that in like the TV show. So that's kind of where I'm in a weird sticking point. Obviously, I'm still going to check it out because I love The Last of Us, and any expanded universe would be great. But I'm just kind of disappointed that like we landed there again. Like I think video games should just stay in their lane and just be good.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think having a show is way more inclusive in just generally in audiences than a game. One, because you need the system to play the game, whereas like this, like, okay, sure, you need like HBO or like Amazon, whatever the heck, Netflix, which a lot more of the population has. The thing that this is the reason they're going for a Last of Us TV series is because the narrative is so emotionally gripping. Right?
Sure.
And part of what makes it so emotionally gripping is because you play as a character and you lose that sort of connectivity with the characters if you're just watching them opposed to watching them and playing them.
Right.
So that's why, it's hard to say one way or another because I don't really remember the last time I played such a really emotionally, narratively gripping game and then also watched it, like in that juxtaposed medium. I don't even know if that exists.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where it just hits different when you're playing.
As the kids say.
Oh man, I hate you. I hate you so much. Why are we so drunk? It just hits different in the game.
No, you're right. You're right.
Like, I don't want to spoil the game to anyone, and obviously with this TV show going on, I don't want to do spoilers for The Last of Us, but like there's sections in those games where like what makes games interesting is that you can't move the narrative forward unless you move forward.
You control
as a player,
the pace of it.
Right?
Yeah.
So it gives you that time to breathe. It gets you really to understand the motivations of the character. Not saying that the TV show won't do that, but there are just moments where because you control the character, that cutscene that happens afterwards like really hurts. Like it's really cool. So I'm curious to see what it's going to look like. We're still going to watch it. We're Last of Us stans over here. But
yeah, especially if it's like episodic, comes out weekly. Like I'm totally down to watch it with you and Sam. Graphical limitations are kind of something I want to bring up for especially the Last of Us TV show, because Last of Us came out on PS3,
right?
Was remastered on the PS4. I played it,
it's still a pretty game.
It was fine. It was fine.
This graphics snob over here.
I thought a game like Super Smash Bros. Ultimate looked better.
Not a chance.
On the Switch.
Not a chance. You got to check your eyes. You need to get LASIK again. Are you insane?
I don't know. But so the thing is, like, then
Kirby's looked the same for like 6 years.
They've perfected the pink ball.
Literally, I thought about the other day. There's we're totally gonna digress, but do you remember Super Smash Bros. Brawl? Like when they did they're like, oh, this is the melee version, and then they turned it into the Brawl version.
And
Mario.
Kirby
it was so hyped. It was so cool. Like you can see him like, oh, Mario's jeans has texture.
Yeah.
Link has this world. Fucking Kirby, like nothing.
No, dude, he was dark pink. Now he's light pink. But the reason I want to point out like the graphical limitations is going from like a up-res PS3 game to real life, like acting and especially like facial expressions can be very big in a narratively gripping story. So I'm totally fine with a TV show for The Last of Us. Like I think personally that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I was a little upset by the casting for Joel, and Joel's a character you play in Last of Us 1. I really, and I'm not the first one to come up with this, I really wanted Jaime Lannister with facial hair to play Joel, because he, like, if you literally just like look that up, he actually just looks like Joel. It's kind of uncanny how much he looks like Joel with like his like normal facial hair. But then we got Pedro, who is a very notable actor, like definitely not ragging on his prowess in acting. It's just he doesn't look the part. And then that kind of begs the question is, do you actually need to look like the character to pull it off? And I don't know. Well, I don't know the answer to that. I don't know if there is an answer to that.
I think we don't know until we know, right? There's certain instances where people would rag on the casting choices and they just ended up surprising people. Like, for instance, Heath Ledger, rest in peace, but like literally everyone was shitting on him for being cast as the Joker.
Not literally, that's correct.
I hate you. Figuratively. I'm sorry, Alex. I'm a millennial. So everyone was shitting on him as being cast as the Joker. Mm-hmm. And at this point, at this point, most people would probably say arguably he's one of the best Jokers around.
I agree.
Right? What do you call it? Like Harley Quinn being cast as like Margot Robbie. People like, hated that too. Like she's actually really good as Margot as whatever.
The right amount of crazy.
Like, and then like Mark Ruffalo, like he doesn't look like Hulk. An Incredible Hulk guy, but like I don't know if I can see anyone else as the Incredible Hulk as like other than Mark Ruffalo. I think we are going to kind of see what that looks like, and I trust HBO enough to make the right casting choices, especially in like this weird post-apocalyptic like drama thing, and because that's just kind of HBO's like lane. They're like, we're really good at this one thing.
So my thing is, as soon as I saw that, so Joel is like a very white guy, right? He's very Caucasian, and Pedro is obviously Spanish,
which is white.
Right. It's not Caucasian though, right?
I think what Alex is trying to say is Joel in the game is a big Southern man.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, when I see that sort of deviation, I think of another recent example, which was Hermione being played as a person of color in, I think, like the theatrical performance of like whatever the sequel of Harry Potter was. Yeah, whatever. But the thing is, like, when Hermione was portrayed as a person of color, opposed to as, you know, Emma Watson being Caucasian in the theatrical performances,
it didn't matter.
Yeah, the thing is, like, in like actual like theater shows, they often do like drastic deviations from the actual source material, like in Shakespeare's Tempest.
Oh, I know. His English teacher is showing everyone.
Bring up the English stuff. The main character was a male wizard, and then they brought out a movie version of The Tempest, and it was a female.
It's a witch.
And that was, yeah, basically, I don't know. And, like, people were like, oh, okay, yeah, like, cool, whatever. Because, like, you know, it's like a play. It's like you do weird stuff from the source material. And we haven't really seen any, like, major deviations from, like, video game to, like, TV series. So should it be a big deal that...
What are you talking about, major deviation? Have you seen Mario movie? Have you seen the Mario movie?
That's true.
So, like...
Yeah, I don't know. I guess
it doesn't count. It's not. We're expecting a high quality movie or show.
There aren't a lot of like sample sizes, right? Of like video game adaptations to TV. And I know, like, I've been like I use Reddit every day. Subscribe to like, you know, PS4, PS5 subreddits where I see these posts about the actors being posted, like the comments, whatever. And like, oh, it should have been so and so because he looks like Joel. Yada yada yada.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, like, if he looks like Joel, like, great. If he doesn't, maybe that's not a big deal. As long as he portrays who Joel is, who he embodies, like, the qualities that we love Joel for, and can act like the Joel in the game, I think that's most important. Yeah. So my initial knee-jerk reaction of, like, Pedro, whatever his last name is. Yeah, Pedro Pascal is Joel. What? I take that knee-jerk reaction back. Like, I think, like, he's a notable actor. He's very well credited. And so if he can pull off the character, you know, if he can pull off the emotional heartstrings that Joel puts out during the game, like, I'm down for it.
It's fine. We'll probably never see the show anyway. It's never coming out.
Oh my God, don't say that.
But yeah, so there was a lot of news this week, so we might save some of that to next episode because there's just so much to cover.
True.
And maybe there's a light week next week. If not, then we'll just figure it out. But we'll move over to the next section that we typically do. We'll do budget gaming. So just a quick overview. On Xbox Game Pass, Final Fantasy VII, The Zodiac Age.
Final Fantasy 12.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, drunk. Final Fantasy 12, The Zodiac Age.
I know that because Square Enix sent me like 3 different emails this week that it was like being added on Game Pass. I'm like, thanks, I don't even have Game Pass.
Yeah. So that's been
good
added.
Game though. Play it. Please play it if you have Game Pass.
Jurassic World Evolution was added as well, and Stealth Inc. 2, Game of Clones was added. PlayStation has the Big in Japan sale. It ends on 2/24.
Not as good as it should be.
Dark Souls Remastered is $20. Kingdom Hearts all-in-one package is $24.99, which is crazy. I just don't understand how. And then I didn't know this, but I didn't know it wasn't called Yakuza Judgment. It's just called Judgment. So the spin-off game
yeah.
from the Yakuza series called Judgment is $20. How do you know? Nintendo actually has a crazy good sale this week. There's like 3 different sales happening in Nintendo. There's like Lunar New Year sale, like WB sale. I don't even know, like just different publisher sales. So just pointing out some cool ones. Dragon's Dogma is $14.99. I might buy it. I really want to play this game, and I think it's perfect for the Switch.
You're not gonna buy it.
I think I will.
Dude, it's a PS3 game.
But people really like it. I want to check it out.
There's way too much other stuff out right now.
Okami HD is $10. Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm 4 Road to Boruto is $29.99. And then I love this games, so I kind of want to just shout them out. But the South Park games are on sale as well. Stick of Truth is $12, and Fractured But Whole is $15.
Nice.
Steam also has a Lunar New Year sale. Little Nightmares is $4. Jedi Fallen Order is $20, and Yakuza Like a Dragon is $40. Disco Elysium is another game that I'm interested in. That's $22. So that's actually a pretty good discount.
I want to quickly shout out Little Nightmares. I know the second one just came out, which is probably why this one's on sale.
Yeah.
I think they both have gotten like pretty favorable reviews, so maybe check it out if you're looking for like something short, something indie. Yeah.
It's very Tim Burton, so it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's like a light horror game that's platformy. Epic Game Store has a interesting sale. It's like they had like an Epic Game Store showcase, which is kind of interesting. So just showcasing some of the games that'll come, like the Kingdom Hearts games are coming to the PC for the first time, and that's exclusively going to be on the Epic Game Store, so that's kind of cool. So Godfall is $40. Hades, which I will go to bat for anytime, fantastic game, my game of the year last year, is $20. And then as you know, Epic Game Store has some free games usually. So Halcyon 6 Starbase Commander is free. But yeah, those are typically the deals for this week. Check those out. A lot of really interesting sales. Alex is not impressed, but I think it's great. But yeah. Alex is literally dead. I'm looking at him. He's like, I'm drunk. I might need to go to bed. It's 2 a.m, Ralph. What are we doing? But thank you for sticking around for our 22nd episode of Professionally Casual Gamers. We had a lot of fun hanging out with each other, drunk and at late at night, and we hope you did too. If you have any discussion topics or questions, send it over at professionallycasualgamers@gmail.com or on our Instagram, Twitter at Professionally Casual Gamers. If you do, we might have something special. Please do send something over. I check these every week, and I just want someone to send us a topic. But see you next week. Keep it casual.
Thank you for sticking with us in our shenanigans this episode.
What a weird episode. Later.
Bye.